We will be talking today about Quarantine SS20, which is a project that we started in March in response to this worldwide pandemic. So Quarantine SS20 project, archiving sartorial stories from the COVID-19 pandemic. So Quarantine SS20 is a collaborative project between Jofi and myself. And really, it's an online Instagram-based archive that we are going to be also keeping on our website, which is, we'll mention it later on again, but it's quarantine-collection.com. And here you can see the design layout, which you will then be able to find on our Instagram later. So really, we started this project because both of us were at home. We were quarantined from work and working from home, which is a very common term now. And we were just having a regular phone conversation, checking in with each other. And we happened to talk as myself being a fashion historian and archivist, and Jofi being a designer and a design PhD student. Naturally, our conversation got to talking about what we ourselves were wearing during quarantine and why. And we noted that it was different from what we were usually wearing to work and to various events, in our normal everyday lives. And so we decided that it would be a good idea to put the question up to other people as well. And we were hoping to reach as many people as we could. So we put together a call for contributions, and we essentially asked people, what are you wearing during this COVID-19 quarantine? Is it different from what you usually wear? And we said, please send us your photographs and just a short explanation about why you're wearing those particular garments. So we put this call for contributions on our Instagram, which we opened, and we also sent it around to friends and family members and asked people to just get the word out. We were hoping to hear from as many people as we could. And what we found was pretty amazing. So at first, we just put ourselves up as the first study submissions. So myself wearing this vintage dress that I, up until then, had not gotten to wear, and just being on my fire escape because that was one place that I could go without fear of illness or contamination, and Jofi at home cleaning, because of course during quarantine you have to clean, and so she's cleaning in a very particular outfit, especially with her Prada heels. So we put these two up to encourage participation and to show what the design of the archive would be. And as of now, we have received over 150 submissions from 25 different countries all over the world, which is amazing. We didn't really think that it would get this far. And so we're very happy and thankful to all of our contributors and future contributors as well. And just to mention where we're getting submissions from, the majority of our submissions have come from America and, of course, New York, a big hub, and Hungary as well, which makes sense because of our geographic locations and where we know people. So, for example, ELODIE in New York sent in a submission after finding our project in an article on the Hyperallergic Art News website. And so she's wearing vintage. From Hungary, again, the second largest hub for our project, BORBALA is a young designer who was creating things in her home studio. MARCELO sent in from Brazil. We've received multiple submissions from Brazil, and he's wearing something that he bought in Japan. And he actually did not stage this, in the sense that I had seen that he posted this, and he didn't stage it for our project, so to speak. So I saw that he posted it, and I specifically asked if he would submit this to our project, because it was something that was so unusual looking, but interesting and so timely. DARIE submitted from Romania. We've received 2 contributions from Romania, and he was notable because he's wearing something that is traditional folkwear, ethnic wear for his community, and this is him on Easter Sunday. He would otherwise wear this outfit to Easter services in church, but because he wasn't able to go to church since everything was closed, he decided to get dressed anyway and send in this rather beautiful submission. GEMMA sent in something from Ireland, and we've gotten many submissions from the UK. She's wearing items that she took with her to Ireland because she knew she was going to be in quarantine, and she still had access to some amazing pieces in her wardrobe. And really, a lot of what we found, and this is in terms of themes, is that many people were referring to what normal was for them. So ELENA from New York mentions that this is her normal. And this type of clothing, this fully dressed, fully made up, hair done, is her normal. And even though she's in quarantine in the middle of the woods somewhere, she said, "My aesthetics are an important part of my identity that I have developed over decades, and I don't feel like myself if I don't dress like me." Meanwhile, someone like Marcus in Los Angeles is using this time to experiment with something new. So he's getting, or she rather, is getting dressed up and wearing something that she might not have otherwise worn during this, or have otherwise worn not during a quarantine. So she's really, taking this time to experiment with what the new could be for her. We've also noticed a lot of very comfortable clothing, people specifically saying we're wearing comfortable things like kaftans and kimonos, and we've received many of these, as well as people turning to vintage, like ELODIE, who I mentioned before, or Dora, who is in Budapest, and she wears vintage as a fashion historian, and Yuli, who's on the bottom, who's wearing an item that is originally from her childhood. And I'll take it, I'll send it over to Jofi.
Yeah, thank you. Do you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, we do hear you, but we have only around 2 minutes and a half left.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you, Doris, for introducing our research project. So in the near future, we would like to extend our profile to invite special contributors. For example, a photographer, as you see in the left side, and also, for example, selected designers to interview them or show their reflection on the topic, or a special interpretation of their COVID fashion story. After analyzing and curating the submissions, our aim is to create a publication with guest editors in a print or online published form. Our post-pandemic long-term goal is to maintain our social media platform as an online community space to open discourses between our followers, researchers, and fashion industry stakeholders. The right image also shows examples how we also collected different examples of mass and creative solutions. Yes, Doris, could you continue?
Doris?
Sorry.
Doris, can you hear us?
Yeah, this is the last slide.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So you finished, right?
Yeah,
Well,
thank you very much. Sorry,
It's okay. Yes, thank you so much. It seems like everyone is tired, and just because it's so, I don't know what the time is in your zone. It's actually after 9 p.m. here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I missed the last.
No, it's okay. Thank you so much for
one thing that we just wanted to add was that for everyone who's watching and who's here who has a quarantine outfit or a mask or something that they'd like to share, to please visit our project site, which is at quarantine_SS20, or email us quarantine.ss20@gmail.com.
Okay. Thank you, Doris. Thank you for speaking about your fantastic project. So today we spoke quite a lot about documenting and archiving, and there were quite a lot of papers which refer to this important issue. And it seems like even some museums all over the world are starting already to collect quarantine objects. Questions, comments? Okay, let me see here if we have any. Okay, not yet. Any comments or questions live? Okay. Yeah. So, well, yeah, it seems like, yeah, everyone is. Okay, but it's great that you have shared with the details, and it seems like, yeah, there will be more participants.
You have a question.
After this. Oh, you have a question? Yes, please.
It seems Hazel Clark from Parsons is asking,
yes.
when will
well, okay, yes. You mean question in our yes, in our chat zone. Yes, Hazel, when will you know when to end the project? Yes, it's interesting.
It is. We've talked a lot about how we're going to end or transition or what have you, and right now what we're kind of pivoting towards is asking people more about what they're using for PPE, because now we're kind of in a transitional point throughout the world. Some people are still in quarantine, some people are not. Some people, like here in New York, for example, we're very much still at home, most of us. And so, you know, we do wear masks when we go outside, and we need to just be mindful of what we're doing in general. And so people are sending us things like masks, or, you know, we're also asking, are you wearing something new post-COVID pandemic? Or, you know, do you have new ideas of how you'd like to dress, or has it affected you in a long-term way? So our project is very much not over. And as Zsófi also mentioned, you know, we're compiling information, and we're gathering, and we're analyzing what people have sent in, and continuing to post resources and related content. So this project isn't over for this foreseeable future. That being said, we know it's not going to last forever, but we would like to memorialize it in some way, not just on the archive by keeping it on Instagram, but also on our website, but also in some kind of publication form. So it will have, and it has taken a life of its own, but it will continue to do so.